You are now about to witness the awesome, crushing might of KNUCKLE! Welcome, my friends. Woo! To a show that apparently seemingly never ends, at least until round 251. I am your host, Eugene S. Robinson. This is round number 268. Enjoy it while you can on Meditations on UFC 211. And I am back. The return of Robinson with a heart full of hate and a head full of hate and an expression of joy unparalleled at the return of the drug we love best, MMA. You didn't think I'd come back. You didn't think I'd make it back. Well, I'm back with gossip, behind the stories, under the stories, deep controversies, deep conspiracies, and any and all like things. It'll be a miracle if I get it in under an hour. But first, the song that took the words that took it all off. Bob Ryder, Stigmata, Calling It a Just, intro, All of Nothing, Words to Live By. I'm on my way back to nowhere. I took my time with a could not see so clear. Now I'm taking a real good look at your face. I'm on my way back to being paid back and for always nothing. All right, my friends. Oh, my friends. Am I still on the air? Yes, I believe I am. Good for you. So I'm going to do something that I tried to do on the last If I Did It that didn't really work out because Alexi, he gotta. Here we go. I can play 30 seconds of it, fair use, so I'm going to do it. That's right, baby. Some of you might know it. For those who don't, at about the 30-second mark, we get to this word and say it all. Listen to Get the beat back. All right, so I'm jet lagged to fuck. I'm getting tired around this time of day on the occasion of Oxbow's Thin Black Duke, the 7th record from a band that I started back in 1987 to 88. We went on tour, 16 shows, 18 days in Europe, everywhere from Italy, England, France, Czech Republic, Denmark, and true to my word, standing offer for everybody who listens to Knuckle Up, friends of Knuckle Up. You got any place Oxbow plays, you make it to the show, you're on the list. And I don't know if guys want their names mentioned. You know, H-Man showed up. Good, yeah, that's right. I know that even a tramp like me knows that somewhere there's a brother who will not deny him a bowl of soup. In the case of H-Man in Leeds, brandy and a flask to drink it out of. We got the dude, the K-Man in Brighton, invited me for a celebratory role at Elements Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah, you got dude who brought me the absinthe in Leipzig. So Knuckle Up was in the house in total. There are a couple more whose names I'm not necessarily mentioning. But glad to see you all, and thanks for coming out. And true to form, you know, there was no trouble, so I didn't have to press the friends of Knuckle Up you know, when I'm on the stage and there's a problem and I give you that look, and you know what that look is, and you look at me and go, I got it, Eugene. Bada, 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 boom. And that wasn't necessary. Only for those of you who are interested, I'll give you another 30 seconds of tour action. Two almost fights. The guy videotaping the whole fucking show. I said, hey, put the camera away. Put the camera away. Do you use a camera when you're fucking? And I said, don't answer that. Because if you do use a camera when you're fucking, you probably put it on a tripod or put it on the bedside table and you busy yourself with the fucking. You don't hold it up like this. So don't hold it up when I'm doing it. When I'm fucking you, don't hold it up. And so the guy goes, okay, and put it down. Well, there's one guy who heard that. It was like, oh, shit, this is my moment. And he rushes to the front of the stage, and he's holding the camera up. And he's looking at me like, he's not even filming. I noticed. He's just holding me up, taunting me. So I slapped that fucking camera across the room. He's like, hey, hey, hey. And I step in front of the mic stand. So now there's the edge of the stage, and there's my fist, and there's this guy. And the guy's like, what? And I just stop moving. And I just look at him. And it's like 5 seconds, 6 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds. And what I'm trying to communicate in a visual but nonverbal way is you're about to get really badly hurt for reasons that are unclear to both of us. And then you see the hand of God come in. His friend or somebody reaches in and grabs his left hand and goes, come on, like this. And the guy fucks off. Well, you see, later on that evening, I see one of the Italian merch women for some of the other bands playing, telling him, go fuck your mother, fuck off, or I'll punch you in the face. He came with the intent of getting fucked up. And as much as I'd like to oblige the guy, I don't fight with amateurs at this point in time, unless you really force me to do it. And so I'm laughing at this woman that's saying she's going to punch him in the face. He sees me, he runs over to me, and he hugs me. And I go, take your fucking hands off me. He's like, oh, my friend. I go, we're not friends. So that fight was averted. And then the drunk woman in Ravenna, who after the show bought a record and then tried to wrestle mug me in front of the missus. The missus moves very quickly. She, Polish women don't fuck around. Moves very quickly, and it was like, whoosh, and they all scattered. I was like, I didn't mind her hugging me or lifting me off the ground, but when she went in for the kiss, therefore knocking off my chapeau, I was perfect. Me and the missus have an understanding. It's unseemly for me to be caught in public punching women in the face with the proliferation of cell phones. So anything that on the distaff side of it, she handles it. Likewise, I handle the male side of things. So anyway, so that's the tour in a nutshell. Sold out shows. Sumac was great. The other band, the Mrs. Band played Manicky Necro. You look them up on Facebook, check it out. But that's not what we're here to talk about. Not by any fucking stretch. Let's get right into it. We're here to talk about UFC 211. If we want to analyze, like the drug reactive agents of the narcoticizing power of MMA, I'm guessing if you aren't the most ardent fucking hater of all, you're having a pretty good day today. In fact, you're feeling pretty fucking good about things. And if you're not, you really need to, you're being negative. Like I told somebody on Twitter, sorry, I'm trying to get my tote sheet. Like I told somebody on Twitter, a few weeks away is all I needed. A few weeks away is all I needed to have this renewed sense of vigor. And I was geeked for this fight. And I went into the fight geeked. And I have to tell you, honest to God, that this, my faith was renewed. I don't want to, let's not start sucking each other's dicks right yet. I don't want to say that WME has figured out a secret sauce, but they're getting close to figuring out a secret sauce, specifically vis-a-vis this group press conference, right? Two rights don't make a wrong. Two wrongs don't make a right. That's a joke from the Wanderers. No letters, please. Wongs, W-O-N-G, the gang and the Wanderers. Two wrongs don't make a right. Get it? Chinese, whatever. If you can't generate an it guy, if an it guy is 100% package, and this is something that you cannot physically generate, you can't create that shit in a lab, you can't make Larry Holmes, Muhammad Ali, you can't make TJ Dillashaw, McG, you can't do it. What you can do is cumulative. And now everybody who's a quick study has understood it. When you saw that press conference, you saw people fucking auditioning for Junior McG, Junior G-Man. And that's what that was about. Did it feel contrived? Little. Did it feel like reality TV? A little. Did it work? A lot. A lot. Because if it was one press conference with one and you couldn't hang your head on that, my God, there was so much grist for the mill. I can't. Was it the DC Johnny Boney Joni thing? Or, you know, and whatever lurking concerns you had about whether my spies are telling me that they're calling him, you know, what Beardy, Budgie, Pudgy. Remember, we went through that with Johnny Boney Jones not taking his training seriously. We can't trust him. He's still partying, hanging out with the guys from the Mini Mart. He's publicly backed off of Stree Overload, but while singing the praises of Cialis, good for him, playing with it. But if you had deeper lurking concerns about whether or not he shows up, DC put it. And DC has done something pretty amazing. He stopped. He's gone punk rock. He stopped really caring. He's like, I can't believe you. You know what? Fuck you guys. In other words, DC is back in the wrestling room. You know who loves DC enough for DC? The guys who keep giving him checks to do color commentary. Those are the guys he cares about. The other fighters, for what? He's a short timer. He beats Johnny Boney Joni. Why the fuck would he stick around when he can do what Brian Stan does and make Brian Stan money? And Brian Stan money is probably not DC money, but DC money's got DC money comes at a high risk. So he beats Johnny Boney Joni. Fucking take those gloves off, put him in the cage. Welcome to the seat next to James Brown. Color commentary. He does it well. Commercials with maybe you borrow that chicken helmet from Jerry Rice. He loses to him. I think the same man. He's like, well, whatever, man. I went to the mountaintop twice. You know, the spotlight shifts back to Johnny Boney Joni, but possibly going to heavyweight, possibly shaking it, whatever. Doesn't matter. And the realization that doesn't matter has reinvigorated a DC in a really healthy way. Because what people don't understand, it's a Hollywood adage. Sincerity is everything, and once you can fake that, you got it made. You do not feel you're getting anything but the unvarnished when you deal with a Conor McGregor. Why do you think we have a fucking Trump as president? Because faults and all, he delivers unvarnished. I had a friend who had that same skill. He could look at you and within 30 seconds, figure out what your fucking Achilles heel was. Is everybody sensitive about something? Like the guys in the comments used to try to fuck with me and be like, nigga this and nigga that. It's like, man, about the only thing I feel right now is sorry for you. If you are an African American in America and you are in your 50s and still offended by that kind of fucking rebop from somebody who is not in a position to hire you or give you an apartment or who has a badge on, you don't give a fuck. You don't give a. So guys are trying to offend me. You know, if you're paying attention and listen to enough shows, you know the thing that does offend me. That no matter how I try to guard against it, if somebody does it to me, it just goes right into those portions of my brain that tie into early childhood development. And that's like you of all people. Oh, I'm super susceptible to disappointment. That is not so much, it gets to me. It doesn't offend me, but it gets to me. But what DC is doing, fuck it. It's embracing his own legitimate, I'm getting closer to the real guy. And as I get closer to the real guy, I get happier and enjoy it more. And you see people in various degrees figuring that out. Somebody once said, it was Ice-T once said, you know what prison is useful for? It tells you who you really are. And in actual fact, that could be one of the, I mean, you don't have to go to prison to figure that out. Maybe a little insight and some time on the mountaintop might help. But, you know, the reality of it is, you know, all you have to do is clear your head for a second. Forget about that mic. Forget about the stage. You know, some people don't know who they are until they're 40 or 50 or never. But you have to clear your head, let the mist clear, and realize who it is that you are. And when that happens, you see Kevin Lee on stage looking like Jimi Hendrix. And you see real shit happening. Some of it felt contrived. Oh, you know, don't talk about my kids. But, you know, like Bill said in Kill Bill, I'm a contract killer. I get upset. What do you think is going to happen? Professional fighter, I get a little upset, contrived or not. What do you think is going to happen? That's why we fight. So that press conference was fucking gold. The shit that happened at the weigh-in, they finally kind of figured it out. This is all TV show, TV. This is entertainment. This shit is high up on the scale of quality shit that shit drives people in the seat. You know what doesn't? You know what doesn't? The Jotko fight. The Jotko fight, goddamn, my leg is killing me. The Jotko fight doesn't drive people to the seats. Not really. So let's start at the top, because you know, that's I'm pretty sure that everybody wants to start at the top. You know, so let's see. Top would be Stipe, and you know, I hate to say it, but I was sitting there in the wine bar. Yeah, I have a little glass of water. Like I need it for medical reasons, right? It's still water. Guy comes back. More water? Do you have French fries? Yeah. How much would those be? $2? All right. Oh, here's $2. 25 cents at a time. My laundry money. Now I don't actually have laundry money because I have a laundry machine in the house, but washing machine in the house. I got to straighten the leg. Sorry. So so this is where I'm watching the fight. I'm a mess. So I secretly am sitting there with my French fries and my glass of water, hanging out with my dude Andrew. Got some friends in from Berlin. Made them sit through 6 hours of MMA, for which they'll never forgive me. And of course, the jet lagged and passed out missus who was there. But I was enjoying the fuck out of myself. And we're starting at the top. And the top, or which would be the bottom, because everybody's talking about. But I have to say that I'm sitting there, and secretly, I am, in my heart of hearts, and you have to know this is true. I had even written in a text. Because or tweet. I'm about to send out this tweet, and I had even written, and he's back, right? And he's back. You know, for the first time ever, a man has gotten out of the lost battalion. I mean, you know, that doesn't really happen. but you know, for the first time ever, I had a sincere hope that I was poised, and I was really secretly in my heart of hearts hoping that shit would happen, and it did not. It did not. And people were talking about today at training, and I could have done the show earlier because I'm jet lagged. I'm up at like 4:10 in the morning. It's not a skill set. The only thing he delivered in that first round were expert fucking kicks, right? Like those kicks were pretty freaking significant and pretty mighty. And but that wasn't the problem. Skill set's not the problem. Just like somebody once said, I was tweaking about being fat, and the guy says, you know, it takes time to get fat. What do you mean? It takes time. Like it takes time to lose weight. It takes time to gain weight. You had 5 fig Newtons. 2 hours later, you will not be fat. Oh yeah. So my point is, Junior Dos Santos' skill set is not a forgotten skill set. So what's wrong, Eugene? What's wrong? What's wrong very specifically is that dude's head is done. It's done. Done, 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 done. Done. This is a guy, listen, under normal circumstances, say things had been reversed. Forget about the belt for a second. Say things had been reversed. Say Stipe had beat Junior Dos Santos already. and they had come into the fight to fight, that would have accrued to his benefit. In other words, the thing in his head that made him strong, that drove him through practice, would be the fact that he had beaten him before. Junior Dos Santos had a promising non-mist-based run, but he was still misty. Now, you could be swinging and whiffing in the mist, and those could be powerful strikes, but you're still in the mist, so things are not connecting right. They talk about angels and the separation between angels and humans, where humans, because of mortality, measures of mortality, can feel things that angels can't. And angels, because of them being unstuck and not bound to time, can perceive things that humans can't. Our time exists in a linear fashion. For angels, people who are angelologists, if there's such a thing, like demonologists, that their understanding of reality is not linear at all. In the same way that I might have a thought in my head about Eddie Jock going back to the 60s and the early 70s, that Eddie Jockman was a hot shit goalie for the New York Rangers. Just something I know. I can't tell you much more about Eddie Jockman. Or like I might have dreams about shit that happens in the future that actually ends up happening. This is the kind of perceptive level that angels are supposed to exist on, except a little bit more clear. This is why the devil manages to be a liar. Maybe not specifically. When the devil is whispering to Hitler about rearming, the Rhineland, I don't know if the devil is deceiving him or invading Poland. It could just be that the information that they're getting is piecemeal. Like I've said before, it's not so much that I'm lying. I'm just saying stuff that doesn't come true. I know I've gotten into the deep kind of weird cul-de-sac, but the point is that Junior Dos Santos' understanding of who it is that he is in his head is interfering with how he understands. His understanding of who he is interfering with his understanding of what he can do. So the fact that he beat Miocic before should have accrued to his benefit. It fundamentally accrued to Stipe's benefit. The narrative line. And he's singing songs, and he's doing the hope thing. And then some of you tweeted to me, the other D-Man tweeted to me that he's saying, I'll just read it to you, that he's saying in the press conference, because I didn't get a chance, I can't put people through the press conference. I either got to watch it post facto or something. But he said, here we go. He said at the post-fight presser, he needs to sit down and figure out what lesson God is showing him. Are you fucking kidding me? What lesson God is showing you? If you haven't seen it now, buddy, you're not going to see it. You see your mist, your hand, a wood pile, an axe, you're done. Who are you going to fight? Are they going to pay you what they're paying you to be a gatekeeper? You are on the edge of that. You're on that sorrowful edge of us. Only the sadists want to see you do anything. However, there is a way out. Maybe. This is the way out. Johnny Boney Joni actually shows up, beats DC in the rematch, says I'm done with this dieting. I'm going to fight heavyweight. And a good gatekeeper bill for him would be against Junior Dos Santos. I'd like to say this would rescue Junior Dos Santos from the Lost Battalion, but it will not. If he beats a Johnny Boney Joni, they go, oh, fuck, man, the guy jumped up in weight, and Johnny Boney Joni can scuttle back to light heavyweight. Go, that was tougher than I thought. Doesn't get him out of it. Doesn't get Dos Santos out of the mist. He can fight more fights, but he's fighting them in the mist because there is no promise. Absence of promise, lack of awareness of position in place and space, and that qualifies Lost Battalion. Still not the head. He's not the Gauleiter general. That's Chris Weidman. But he's there. He's Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame Lost Battalion. Stipe, however, now has other issues to deal with. All right? I'm starting to see more imagery of Cain Velasquez. If I'm Stipe, I'm working on, he had a pretty decent sprawl. I'm working on more of my ground stuff, see if it makes a difference. Unknown whether Cain will be back ever. I don't know. It's taking a longer time. Next fight, because I can't fuck around. I'm sorry, we're gonna move through this quickly. Joanna, both Kid Nate and I picked Stipe, so we're okay. We're 1-1. We both picked Joanna, except I, as a sideline, said I thought she'd do it in the third round. Nate said the fourth. They went the full thing. Jessica Andrade, you know, she had a lot of heart. Joey R said it best. Mr. Rogaine, Joe Rogaine said it best. You know, she had a lot of heart. That was an exciting fight. You understand? It's not fucking rocket science. It's not rocket science. She was outclassed and outgunned, but we came to it and we walked away through it with an understanding of her and ourselves that serves a narrative that, you know, what can make that little ant think it can move a rubber tree plant? Everyone knows an ant can't move a rubber tree plant, but she's got high hopes. That's it. That's fucking it. Eminently satisfying. And Joanna, you know, still a belle of the ball, still super charming. You know why? You know why? Let me explain to you why. Because no matter how sexy the inducements are to not pay attention to what the fuck is going on, which gets everybody else who's famous, with the exception of Mighty Mouse, you know, the autographs is being signed, the TV crows is showing up. Speaking of which, there is a guy, here's some gossip for you. There's a guy who was a pro jiu-jitsu player. Did I mention this already? I mentioned it on one of the other shows. I'm now busting out with it. He gets a woman who is also sometime martial artist pregnant. She is 38 years old. If you get a 38-year-old woman pregnant, you got to know that the next thing they're going to be calling you is dad. He tells her in deep earnestness that he met with his management team, that he is in the midst of a reality TV show that they're filming for FX. Filmed completely with hidden cameras. And that the creative dramatic, that the script writers, because they still have script writers on reality shows, the script writers have worked out this creative dramatic tension that will occur around her decision to get an abortion. She has not decided to get an abortion, but when presented in this context, she believes that she should get an abortion to keep to the script. So they have this whole scene where they go to Planned Parenthood and he's concerned, and the cameras are rolling away, the hidden cameras. She gets a procedure, terminates the pregnancy, he leaves, he comes back for the show and breaks up with her in person because he's a stand-up kind of guy. She tells me. So the question is, knowing them both, her better than him, do we put him on Front Street, that there is no TV show, there were no hidden cameras, that this was a jiu-jitsu move to end all jiu-jitsu moves, and that he slipped it, making her angry? Or do you just say, hey, anybody who believes that they're surrounded by hidden cameras gets what they deserve? I don't know. But my point is, you know, in a universe where that doesn't seem crazy, you can see that when the cameras start rolling and your people are calling you for interviews, and that you got a management team and they've got appearances and autographs being requested and people are sending you naked pictures of themselves, that the things start to get forgotten. That's not your job. Those are ancillaries. Your job is not to get your ass kicked. And beyond that, your job is to kick some ass. I think Joanna, the prospect of going back to Poland and getting a job, which are hard to find in Poland, period, not gonna happen. And at the point where people are trying to take shit away from you, you can't get casual. I've seen it time and time again. If there's one story that's writ large in MMA, it's those who forget the fact that people are fucking trying to kill you. The Diaz's don't forget it. It informs your actions. Like Jack Nicholson said in The Departed, act accordingly. Trying to take your money. I'm trying to take your dinner. I'm trying to take your pool. I'm trying to take your fucking house and your car. Because if I don't take it, you got it. And if you got it, I don't have it. So is there a future for Andrade? Fuck yes. She's great to watch. Hell of a gatekeeper. Somebody said female Vanderlei Silva. I said female Justin Bieber. And then I remembered Justin Bieber is a female. Hey, I'm working out a routine, baby. Masvidal and Maia. I love Damian Maia. And I picked Masvidal. Kid Nate picked Maia. Kid Nate got one up on me. Masvidal got a raw deal. But his raw deal came from a lack of understanding. And I think he thought, yes, you have my back, but if you have my back and you haven't converted that back into a submission, you have shit. It's like, I could slap you in the face in the middle of the fight. What does that count for? Like when on my last karate competition, where the guy he was a 6'4" kid, and he would do a jump in the air and tap me on the top of the head, and he would get a point for that. And I lost because of shit like that. And I said, you know, I could kill this guy. And he just scored 4 points on me for jumping and touching the top of my head. Yeah, it's my fault that I didn't avoid it, but that was without that moment, I never would have gone to Muay Thai. And without going to Muay Thai, I never would have found myself to what they call combat wrestling back in the day. Masvidal said, I'm converting on the feet. Much more dangerous. I'm scoring shit that's much more significant on the feet. A takedown and holding me on the ground, that's not shit. Doesn't matter. This loss doesn't mean shit to Masvidal. He's still in the mix. Not damaged at all. You know, they don't want to Susan Lucci to fucking Damian Maia. Damian Maia is on a run. You know, he is the Peter principle. He's got to be allowed at this point now. No one can stop his mark to this date with destiny that he's got to have. And Masvidal will have his moment. Because the guy fought like a fucking champ. He fought Maia in a way that nobody else has been able to fight Maia. And this shit. See, what fundamentally, I think what we're all happy with are win-wins. Somebody lost in all these fights, but they lost mightily. Or sadly, in the case of Junior Dos Santos. Andrade, however she lost, accrued to her benefit. Masvidal, however he lost, controversy or not, accrued to his benefit. Damian Maia's win accrued to his benefit. Everybody's happy. It's a win all around. I picked Yair and Edgar. This went, Kid Nate picked Edgar. I didn't pick the Jersey boy. I rooted for him because suddenly it was a mixture of styles. It was like you had, you know, like I said, drugs work in like fashions, and fashions work in cycles. And this was very precisely something like that. Very precisely. Right? Because Masvidal, because Yair, you know, is a thing in the future. They didn't Sukaju him. It's not like they brought him too fast. You know, an aging Edgar who was ruled out of contention for a top spot, like I said in my tweet, if you were following, and he does what now exactly? What does he do now? Nothing. He is an apex level gatekeeper at this point. And what he did was just number 3 sent number 9 back. Yo, son, work on the grappling. Because I just introduced you to mixed part of martial arts. Wrestle mug, held on the ground, cut you with elbows, and you can't see, and the fight stops. I didn't submit you. I pulled a balls out raw power move. Not enough to beat anybody, but enough to stop you. You should thank me. You should thank me. This is about making you a more complete and more effective mixed martial artist. You should thank me. And I think Yair looked thankful. Goes back to his team. I don't know what just happened there. Don't fuck me over. Fix this. That can never happen again. Like my first jiu-jitsu competition where I got choked out. I go to my coach, what the fuck was that? He goes, it was a clock choke. How come I don't know a clock choke? Well, I haven't showed you yet. How come you haven't showed me yet? That's when I used to think I could train jiu-jitsu twice a week and make any progress. When I was at Beverly Hills Jiu-Jitsu. Isn't that funny? Beverly Hills Jiu-Jitsu doesn't sound like a joke. Like it's not even a real place. It is. I mean, Marcus Vinicius was a great coach, but he told me not to train with Serrao. He told me to train with Claudia Fonchi. Anyway, so Yair diminished? No. Head queered with his next fight? No. Back to the fucking drawing board and intense work with a fucking wrestler? Yes. Go to Iowa, talk to Tom Brand, hang out with the team, and spend 3 months fucking wrestling. That's it. You're young enough. You got it in you. But you got to have an answer for shit like that after the answer gave you. If you got the time and you got the time, do it. Your other stuff, non-pariah. But you can't get that shit off unless you can get them off you. So now I'm 2-2. I'm sucking shit. And Kid Nate is just lapping me. The computer's on my knee. It's a real laptop. It's on my lap. It's burning my leg. So, so let's go straight to. So we got Stipe, and then I picked Eddie Alvarez, and Kid Nate picked Dustin Poirier. Eddie Alvarez fought this fight the way Eddie Alvarez fights. Like, you don't expect me to say like a man. Nah. Well, it is clear that whatever residue led to him fighting the stupidest fight in the world against Conor McGregor is gone. I mean, whatever was happening there, you know, I guess he maybe paid off his house, got a new car, put his kid in a private school. He's all right. That residue, it seems in my mind, completely forgotten. Now, you know, you talk about guys whose heads are gone. You know, to have your head gone, you get guys who are kind of immune to that, who just don't give a fuck. You know, you could be like autistic kids. You could be like going like, you know, I'm not really adept at reading the emotions of others. So it doesn't make a difference. Like, you know, we're talking about Cody Garbrandt trying to get in his head. Good luck with that. Eddie Alvarez is the same thing. I like, you know, that shit happened before. I don't fuck that. You know, I'm not going to get back to Philly, get a job I'm not doing that. You get an automobile dealership now. Got fucking rocked. And at this point, it's a no contest, completely the right call in my mind. If you're not geeked for the fucking rematch, you are not paying attention. That was manly shit that was happening. Gritty, dig down deep shit that was happening. Gotta tell you. That's the kind of shit that's the lessons that made a man out of man. And that's why we come to MMA. And if you're not geeked for that fight, you OSB, baby. Other sports beckon you, and you need to go there now. Yeah, you know, and they need to. I don't know what the fuck is going. Texas is the reason. I don't know what the fuck was going on with this variation. We're not going to. Which rules we're going to use? Are you kidding me? Stop that. Just stop that. Why the fuck would you do that? Figure out the rules and whatever. But no contest is all right because we don't give somebody a fair advantage for a fuck up. I mean, it'd be one thing if the guy bites his eyeball. He didn't do that. And I wanted to see Poirier dig down deep. You know, he was in trouble before he was dropped. How the fuck did that happen? He got caught, son. And that's the shifting tides of MMA. That's why we love it. Knight and Skelly. So here I start to get back on the board because I picked Knight. And it was looking bad for Knight. He pulled it out in the end. And Kid Nate picked Skelly. And I picked Jotko, and Kid Nate didn't care enough about the fight to pick anybody. Oh, I think I'm being poisoned. My stomach hurts. And, of course, I'm back down. Well, if he had picked somebody out of it, but David Branch, Brooklyn guy, I picked against him, but I had to go with the Polish home team, and then, you know, it didn't fucking work out. And then hold on. And then we both picked Vic, and Vic beat the punches in Marco Polo. But there were a lot of other don't cares. All the other things were don't cares, which puts me in a fucking embarrassing situation because Coulter and Sherman was one of the fights of the night, and I didn't see it. I didn't get to the wine bar in time. Got there at 6:04, right as the right 6:02, right as the Knight Skelly fight started. So I need to go back and watch that. So that is a card. That is a card in total. We had 5. I'm keeping notes here. I had 5 don't cares on the Fight Pass fight, and then the others are there. So I need to watch some of those. And it doesn't matter. My commentary wouldn't have been especially insightful in regards to those anyway. So where do we stand now in this space of space? Because I want to get to some of that because there's a great press conference, and I want to Conor McGee has had his baby boy, his son. There's some talk. If I don't hear stuff from Sunday about the fights, listen. If there's one thing you can count on, it's that anything connected to boxing is going to be fucking stupid. And if there's one thing that you can count on, that stupid shit that happens in MMA very closely follows the stupid shit that is prone to happen in boxing. Legit, straight up. You know, because it's such huge. Imagine if, do you understand the difference? I love Guy Ritchie. Loved him more after he got rid of Madonna. But they're talking about his King Arthur movie that cost, what, $173 million to make or some shit like that. And it's a flop, which means this opening weekend only took $8 million or $14 million and $173 million budget. People are talking shit about this movie. It's terrible. Oh, it's terrible. Guy Ritchie. It's terrible. This movie. Terrible. It's probably not that terrible. It's probably just an average movie. But scuttlebutt is. So when they're talking about this old boxing, other fight is they can play themselves. If you were paying attention, you would know that kind of shit was played. Why? Because that Matt Damon movie about the guys protecting the Great Wall of China, that tanked. Guys with arrows running around parapets and looking over, that shit's tanking. It's not the season for it. If you watch any of these movies, that was Heaven's Gate, started with Michael Cimino. These are not Ishtar with Dustin Hoffman and Warren Beatty. These are not terrible movies. Leonard Part 6, terrible movie. But these others, they're okay. But at the time, Heaven's Gate, they spent $40 million on it. They're like, oh my God, that this movie was telling, is it a $40 million? You know what? Don't get caught up in the business of the movies. Your business is not movie business. You're just see a movie. So this whole thing with caught up in the drama of boxing and this, if I don't hear from Sunday, look, the King Arthur movie, you'll be able to see it next weekend. And beyond that, in 6 months, you'll probably be able to see it on Netflix or iTunes. They have a lot of time to accrue money cash return, right? A lot of time. A boxing match has one fucking time at the plate. And huge amounts of money that could come in through the gate for that one time at the plate. So it's not even based on Pacquiao and Mayweather, that fight, which was a shit show. It's not even really the quality of the fight that's had. It's everything that gets you to the buy moment when you're in the seat for that fight, right? So part of this is kabuki theater, the Conor McGregor, the bald one, and the Bob, Aaron, the Mayweather, and the Team Money, and the back and forth. The fight will happen because you don't know it, but you secretly do not forgive Fedor for refusing this fucking Randy fight. You secretly do not do not forgive him for this. You don't. You don't. Because when you think about Fedor right now, you think about nothing. What? I'm getting choked out by Verdum. The spinning knockout of Arlovsky, maybe. They call him the Emperor, and you wonder why. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So you can play yourself. But part of what's happening is that they have to make it right going in. It has to be that moment where you walk through the restaurant, that moment where you get beyond that velvet rope at Studio 54 and you step in and you see, the disco dolly, 78-year-old disco chick on roller skates with a halter top and a Coke spoon up her nose on a horse. And you go, my God, I had to kill to get in here, and I'm glad I did. And you find yourself on a couch with Bianca Jagger and Halston, and you know, man, this is all right. That's what they're trying to generate because they don't have 6 months to sell his fight post facto. So it's not like they're jerking me off, and they're not going to let me blow my load. That's not what's happening. They're getting everything right. Maybe they're grousing about cash here and there, maybe. Not clear to me. What was the other good piece of gossip I got? Oh, this is MMA gossip, and I can't really share it. It's too close to home. I mean, it has nothing to do with me, but I know too many of the principals involved. These are real people, real lives. But let me say this. It's a professional MMA fighter who you've seen. We've mentioned on the show. Insofar as I want to give a hint, I could say I've never actually interviewed him on the show, though he is a bona fide friend of Knuckle Up for reasons I'm not going to go into now. But it was like what exactly was it like? It was like when you, with that old Saturday Night Live skit called Bad Idea Jeans, when they go through these different scenarios. Well, sure, he's only been off of heroin for a few weeks, but having him stay in our apartment will be okay. I gave him the keys. It was one of those things, like, forget it, Jake, it's Chinatown. And when dudes started going out with, again, I'm friends with both of them, some of us were thinking, like, should we tell him? Well, maybe things will work out for him. Maybe he won't have to figure out the hard way that this is not the right way. Sorry, dude. Sorry. I'm sorry I haven't given you more details, but the subtext is very clearly when you wake up and find sausages where sausages should not be, it's a sad day for somebody. Especially when about half the fucking world knew that's where it was going to end up. Sorry that I don't have details, but I just fucking can't. I just can't go into it. These are real people, real lives, friends of mine who've helped me, but these are names that you've heard, that you've seen cage side on the Jumbotron when you're at the fights. It's gossip. Who cares? It's insignificant, unimportant. So let's move on. So the bald one, Conor McGregor, people, he's never going to come back. He's going to make $20 million, and he won't fight MMA anymore. You don't kid yourself. Don't kid yourself. It's like at one point they were giving Prince a hard time. Oh, your last record didn't do well. And Prince had to set him right. He goes, you do realize I'm already rich. You do realize I will never be anything other than rich. Not a professional boxer. Evander Holyfield with 11 kids going to lose the mansion and the Rolls Royces. No. I can play a show tomorrow and sell out a stadium. I'm still making money. And I'm rich. So your idea about what a successful record is and my idea, completely different things. Same thing. Same thing with this. Conor McGregor is not fighting for money anymore at this point. You got to understand that. He could do TV commercials. He could do movies. You know, nah. This is something else. You know, and what it is what is that? Dope shit. Like Dave Chappelle says back when he was funny, Dave Chappelle says about hanging out with Kanye West. Kanye was talking to a friend on the phone at the studio because I'm dope and I do dope shit. Rockstar. Glad he got rid of his Twitter account and his Instagram account. It wasn't helping him. Get back in the studio, make some music. It's your job. The same sort of thing. Conor McGregor is there for other reasons at this point. Why? Why not? I want to see if I can climb that mountain. I want to write the greatest book. Why not? I mean, if this is not, why does a guy get under a bar and see if he can bench 345? Because it's better than just sitting at home. He'll fight. Conor McGregor will fight. It's not because he realizes, well, the only reason cameras are on me because they don't give a fuck about that. At this point, we're pursuing an idealized version of self, an idealized version of self that transcends self. All of us do it. And those people who don't, I very rarely have time for. Even if your job, even if you're working the 7-Eleven, you know, your job is nothing but, you know, passing me pecan swirls when I'm hanging out by the juniper bushes